And there was this really surprise news in the criminal side probe, which had been reportedly paused. So Renato stays. Let me update everyone this. It's basically an unusual set of announcements that came out from the relatively new Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg. He's discussing the questions about whether this Trump criminal probe is continuing, and he says it is, but the law requires secrecy during an investigation. Now, it's unusual for a DA to put out a statement at all like this if there's an open probe that's going on. It seems and feels a bit like a rebuttal to the fact that, as we and others reported, the New York Times had this story in great depth, he had prosecutors who were not only on the Trump case, but recommending moving forward with a criminal indictment of Donald Trump, where the former president would be put on trial in New York, and if he lost, would go to jail. That kind of criminal trial. And this DA, according to these prosecutors, paused the case and disagreed and declined to indict Trump. There was the discussion that he, quote, halted an effort to seek an indictment. That's how it was put. So that's why it's pretty interesting that all of a sudden, Alvin Bragg, who's been on this program as well, has a new interview out today where he says, not so fast.
Well, we are every day following up on new evidence that we've secured. And I mean, investigations are not linear, right? So we are following the leads in front of us, and that's what we're doing. We're doing that right now, and that's what we're saying in our statement today. The investigation is very much, ongoing.
So you're still interviewing witnesses?
We are, as our statement today says, we're interviewing witnesses, reviewing documents, following up on evidence that has not previously been analyzed and looked at or secured by the office.
Renato, what is going on here?
Wow, that's a really good question, Ari. On its face, I would love to believe that because Alvin Bragg has a fantastic reputation, that, of course, that things are moving full speed ahead. What I've been hearing is the opposite, and there's been some outside indicators that things are winding down there. And I really got to tell you, I hope this statement is not disingenuous on his part, because it would be not only a disservice to the public, but I think it would be unethical for the DA to suggest that this is going forward full steam when this case is actually winding down, when witnesses are no longer being interviewed, when work is not being done by people in the office, when evidence is being returned. If that is really what is going on here, the DA should just come out and say that they're winding down their investigation. So I really hope that he's being forthright and candid here.
Very interesting the way you put it, Renato, and you know this space well, and some investigations come with heat and pushback, but you seem to be implying that it is more likely that the case really is winding down because the processes that we know about, like a grand jury impaneled to take evidence and interviews, is winding down. The prosecutors, who have quite a reputation, said that's why they resigned. They said they were told he's not going to indict, which, again, whether that is the right call or not, people can debate, and they have more evidence than the public. But that's why they say they resigned. The New York Times did a lengthy piece with sourcing and talking to the DA himself about it. And so you're suggesting that this could look like, in your view, potentially spin and damage control to buy time for the criticism and not actually be 100% true. And you're saying in that case it would be unethical. I want to let you expound on that. Let me play a little bit more from, again, this new and unusual interview from the DA talking about the Trump criminal probe. Here's another part of what he said.
I thought there were more avenues, more work to be done, more things that we could follow up on. And that's what our team that's in place is doing each and every day. As the district attorney for Manhattan is the one who's got to make the charging decision. I've decided to look at additional avenues, and I'm doing that, side by side with a team of career prosecutors, folks who've been steeped in state law practice, people who've worked in the Manhattan District Attorney's office, in some cases for decades.
What does it mean when he says, I've decided to look at additional avenues?
What that tells me is that he's decided that they don't have enough evidence now. So he's chasing down leads, trying to see if something else pops up. And I guess I want to make clear, Ari, it can be technically correct if a case is open on the books to say that something's ongoing. But the question is, what work is actually being done? Are you just waiting for something to fall out of the sky? Are you just sort of following up on some loose ends, tying up some loose ends, or are you going full force in an investigation? And I think his statement if it in fact is the case that this is winding down, his statement, in my opinion, gives the misleading impression that they're going full force.
Are you saying that he risks becoming a kind of a Comey, a James Comey of New York, if he's trying to have it too many ways in public about a high-profile case, and if it's a declination, then just leave it at that?
I have to say, I think to me, it's even more concerning, because at least Comey would come out and say what he thought was the truth at that moment in time. In my opinion, a candor by a prosecutor is extraordinarily important. We should never be doubting. We shouldn't be on national television doubting or trying to dissect what a prosecutor means.
Really interesting to hear you say all that, and I think viewers know not only do we rely on you for your expertise, but you are not someone who is known as somehow anti or biased against the New York DA's office or Mr. Bragg. I think you're giving it straight, but you're raising matters of concern. And again, it's incumbent upon people in public life who take these oaths to deal with that. So we're asking the questions. Renato, thanks for being here.